Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. Okay, so today what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm doing the paracord belt loops on my EDCs and neckers. This is one of those things that's been kind of a long time coming, and I'm just finally given up, really. You guys know I like making the neckers, right? And but I don't really carry a necker as a necker very often. Typically, I carry a necker on my belt. I really don't care to have stuff hanging off my neck very often. So while I do make the neckers, and I do this style or this style are the ones that I carry when I do carry a necker, like when I'm out kayaking. You know, it's kind of hard to get to your hips because they're down inside the boat, or you know, I'm doing something that's really rough on edges. You know, so I might throw another one around my another one around my neck, and that way I've got, you know, an extra edge to work on, like if I'm doing you know, cutting a lot of insulation, either the foam insulation, like insulating this place, or the bad insulation, or you know, maybe doing some roofing, or you know, just wherever I think I might need an extra edge, I'll throw a necker on. But anyways, I don't normally carry them as a necker. So that has kind of right off the bat, when I started making this pattern, in fact this one right here is the prototype of the 440C stainless that I carried for about a year, testing out the heat treat until I decided I was happy with it. This knife right here, you can tell, has got a paracord belt loop on it. Alright, and you know what, I mean, it was one of those things that I threw it together, and you know, I started carrying it like that, and then I kept trying to find something better, you know, something that looked a little bit cleaner, you know, like the belt loop on this one. Because that does look a little, honestly, it looked kind of thrown together, right? But these belt loops right here, you know, these belt loops, the like clip type, you know, like a steel clip, honestly, I haven't really found anything that I like better than this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you real quick. I'll show you the one that I'm carrying, and then I'm going to go ahead and retie the loop off this one right here, just so that you can see how it's done, you know, and just kind of play with it a little bit. So you know, you gotta, I mean, I carry this around my, you know, on my hip, so you got to see it. And hopefully here we can get. So I don't have a mirror that's behind, but one of the things that I really like about this method of carry is that it's very discreet. Discreet being different than concealed. Concealed kind of suggests that you're trying to hide something. Discreet kind of suggests that, you know, you're just you're not really particularly trying to hide it, but you don't want to show it off either. And so here you can't really see, you know, that I've got it on. And there it is. Okay, so what it does is it holds the blade, or it holds the whole package really nice and high and very tight to the body. Okay, now there is some slop in there. So like lately, you know, I've been packing on some extra pounds, and so, you know, I've got a little bit of the, you know, the Dunlap, it's Dunlapped over my belt. Well, there's still enough, you know, enough room there to where it's not digging into you all the time. But it's flat. It's nice and flat and held tight against your body. Okay? So with a sheath like this, you can, you know, work on cars, roll around in the dirt, up underneath a truck, you know, do whatever you want to, and it's not going to dig in, and it's not really going to hurt anything, with the exception of you'll get a whole bunch of you can kind of see it on this one. You get a whole bunch of marks and everything on the handle, you know, where it gets smashed into the dirt and pebbles, and that one you can really see it, and that kind of stuff. This one right here, I haven't really carried it long enough, and this one, it being burl, you really can't tell either. But that's what I like about this, is nice and flat. It's also secure, and it's light. It doesn't add any extra weight. Okay, now if you take that and you put it to something like this, where it's got a very nice looking clip, You know, it's held on by Chicago screws. It doesn't look kind of thrown together, but it doesn't work the same either. So this is my favorite one of these that I found. I think it's called Clip It. Anyways, it's got a little little grabber right there, you know, so that you can get your fingernail in there. And then the bottom part is curved, but then the curve kind of goes up behind this loop right here, which makes it, and then it's got kind of an offset to where it kind of holds it a little bit farther away from your belly. So if you've been hitting the Oreos way too much lately, like I have, you know, it kind of gives you an extra little bit of breathing room there. So these are a little bit tougher to get on and off, but once you get them on, they're really nice. But see how that holds that much farther away from my belly there? And it kind of holds it at a cant, you know, which, you know, I mean, I guess it's just kind of the nature of the beast there. But there's a little bit of slop in it, but not a whole lot. But see how much farther away from my belly that is than this is? But anyways, this does, you can take it off with your belt on, but it takes a little bit of digging. Okay, so now that we're done looking at my belly fat for a little bit, I'm going to show you how to make one of these. Okay, so my original ones, scoot that back around and get it in the right spot. My original ones, what they were was I just took the neck cord, which is, I think roughly 3.5 feet, something like that, of paracord, you know, that goes around your neck, right? So I took that out and then ran it through the rivets, with the idea being that if I was ever in a spot where I needed to take the belt loop off and I needed to carry it as a neck knife again, I could just undo everything, you know, put it through the little doohickeys right here and then go back to neck carry. What I found was that, honestly, I never did that. If I needed a neck knife, I just went and grabbed another neck knife and kept these as a belt knife. So what I did there was, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure I did it a little bit different every time, but you just ran the cord back and through, you made your belt loops, but then there was all this extra cord that you know, just kind of got in the way, so you ended up doing like little chain knots like that. So what I decided to do is finally go ahead and break down and make a you know, a repeatable pattern to do this with. So we'll start off with the paracord first. So for this, I like using one of these big old honking candles. You know, because you guys will probably do 1 or maybe 2. You know, I mean, I did these yesterday. So if you're doing more than 1 or 2, you know, one of these big old candles works really nice. And then just a container of clean water. And that way you're not, it cools your fingertips down a little bit faster. And I'll show you what that's about here in a second. Okay, so we're going to need about 2.5 foot of paracord. All right, so we're going to use this nice bright blue, whatever it is. Let's go ahead and show you what we're doing here now. Okay, so 2.5 foot is going to be about like that. Okay, get that out of the way. And this end right here has been melted, so we'll cut that end off. I like stripping it. So you take all the little bitty cords that are in paracord out. Take all those out. You can save them for, you know, for other uses or just throw them away. I've got so many of them, I just throw them away. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and melt the end. Take your fingertips, put them in the cold water, get them ready. I mean, it's not really all that hot. And like I said, if you're just doing 1 or 2, then you probably won't even notice it. But usually when I do this, I do, you know, a half a dozen or so at a time. Now, what I do is, probably going to need something white behind that, huh? How's that? Okay, so when I, you get it melting, and then with your fingertips, you go ahead and you squeeze it down and squeeze it and try to make a point out of it. Okay? That makes it a whole lot easier to get through the eyelets on your sheath. Okay, so I did that on the one side. Kind of get it melting, or even get it on fire there for a second. And then make that little point there. Okay? So now we'll put this one away. And then we'll get this one ready. This one right here, I mean, after a while, that paracord, I mean, this is, an everyday carry, right? So everyday carry stuff, if you actually carry it every day, tends to get pretty nasty after a while. Because whatever you're exposed to, it gets exposed to. Things that are held kind of close up to the body, they get, they get sweated on, and then and then it dries out, and then it gets sweated on again, and then it dries out again, and then, like I said, pretty much everyday carry thing gets pretty dang nasty. I mean, if you look at like one of these aren't so bad because they're carried on a belt outside the waistband. But if you want to look at something really kind of nasty and disgusting, look at like a leather inside the waistband holster. That somebody's carried for, even a year. I mean, they get pretty frickin' grody. Okay, so we got this one stripped. This is the EDC pattern. This was the original, okay? The one that I made in that, like, 26-part series or something or other. And this is kind of the one that I based it off of. And I've been carrying this one pretty much ever since I made that series of videos. So 6 months or better, something like that. And then I just recently replaced it with this one right here. And this one, the biggest difference being is this one's 1095 with cottonwood burl. This one is 400 layers of 1095 and 15N20 with cottonwood burl, and then I did a what they call an heirloom fit on the handle scales. So where you fit up the scales, you get them all finished out, then you take them off, and then you epoxy them on there, right? And then just clean up the joints. This one right here, you epoxy it on, and then you grind everything flush, and then hand sand it and finish it out. What the heirloom fit does is it, every material shrinks and expands with differences in humidity and temperature and time, right? And so after a while, you'll start, if you don't do the heirloom fit, you'll start feeling like right there, like a little sharp edge right there where this handle scale is expanded a little bit. And so I decided to test this out and see how I liked it. But anyway, so these EDC sheaths, they come with 6 rivets. Okay, you've got your pair of rivets up here, and then your pair of rivets down here. That's what hold the sheath together. These two right here just give you a nice place to run your paracord through. And then they also come cut with the safety feature for the neck carry, in case you decide to do that. This one right here, I must have got into something really bad because it broke that ear off, in belt carry. So I don't know what I was crawling under, or if something hit me in the side, or what, but it knocked that thing right off, which is pretty amazing because Kydex is pretty tough. Okay, so here is the pattern. Okay, so go ahead and take yourself a piece of cardboard or an index card or something like that, and go ahead and pause this, and then copy that. Just draw yourself a knife here, and then put 4 holes, and then do the same on the other side. Okay, so that they both you know, so the edge is facing down and everything. And then go ahead and, like I said, freeze that for a second. Okay, and then do the same on the other side. And then what you've got is, you know, numbers. So this hole right here is number 1 and 7. And that'll make a little bit more sense here in a second. Okay, so you can do this with a knife in the sheath or out of the sheath. It really doesn't matter all that much. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that or not. Let's move this kind of out of the way and get you in a little bit closer. Well, you'll be able to kind of follow along anyway, I think. Remember, I'm looking at a screen that's about that tall, and I'm looking at the reflection of it in a mirror behind it. Okay, so with the edge down on the knife, edge down on the pattern, this hole right here is number 1. Okay, so go ahead and take your pointiest end that you made on the paracord and put it in hole number 1 and pull it out and leave yourself a couple of inches, because this is going to get tied here, and then you're going to want it to fold down and go underneath. Okay, so leave 4.5 inches or so there. Okay, so that's hole number 1. You go down, flip it over and over. Hole number 2. Now, the tension on this, you want to pull it to where, I mean, it's pulled through, but don't cinch it down tight. We can tighten it up a little bit later. If you get it too tight, then it starts being kind of a pain in the butt to get your belt through there the first couple of times. Okay, so that's number 2. Now back to edge down. Number 3 is here. Okay, now back to edge up. Number 4 is over here. The other way around, number 5 is up here. Now here, differences in your paracord can kind of make it a little bit tough to get, you know, more than one layer of paracord through. I've got a little bitty drill bit. You can also use a little bitty piece of wire. Might have to tighten that up behind it. Paracord I was using the other day was the straight black stuff, and I think it's a little bit skinnier than this stuff. Okay, so that comes through there and makes a cross. Now 6 is back over here. If you have your when you melt your ends and you make your little points there, sometimes they can stay a little fat, and then they can be a pain to kind of get through the rivet holes. And if that's the case, then you can just reheat them and you know, squeeze it down just a little bit more. Okay, so there were 6. 7 is going to come up in here. And I think with the problems I'm having with this one, it's a combination. I think this is a little bit thicker paracord, and I had my needle a little bit on the fat side. In fact, let's clean that up right quick. That's all it takes. That's a little bit better. Okay, so now edge down. Number 8 is the last one over here. These are the small rivets, so they're you drill a 3/16 hole. Okay, so now the last part is the tie off. Okay, so what I'd like to do is you'll have this one piece that's across here. I like to lift that up. I'll just shove a pencil in there to kind of hold it. Lift it up, put this bottom through the bottom, and this top through the top side. Okay, so you've got them like that. Now, I just do a square knot. So, kind of pull it taut, not tight, just taut. So, put your middle finger there, and right over and under left, and then hold it while you pull your middle finger out of the way, and then left over and under right, make your knot. Okay, now you could go ahead and carry it just like this. I like to go ahead and take these tabs or the leftovers and then just slip them down underneath that loop. Okay, now this one is quite a bit longer, so we'll just go ahead and cut it off. And then melt it again. And then tuck it up underneath there. Come on, tuck up underneath there. There we go. Okay, so now put the knife in, that way you can kind of see with the curve of the handle which side's up and everything. So now you get this nice looking belt loop thing. Okay, so now to put it on, this is also sized for an 1.5 inch belt. Okay, that's probably too close. And these are pretty good leather belts. They're Carhartts. So now you go ahead and kind of pull on these a little bit, and that'll kind of pre-stretch them some. And then I just go through this side, go over the top of the cross, and then through that side, and then there you go. Now, the nice thing about this is that if this is too loose, if you get too much wobble, then you can go ahead and break that knot loose and then pull everything a little bit tighter, retie your knot, and away you go. If it's a little on the tight side, then you can undo that, loosen it up, and there you go also. This would probably work, I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't have like a jig or anything that I put these rivets in. I just eyeball them. But there's some slack there. So if you're, tying onto a really, really wide belt, either tie this loose or maybe even do the whole thing through the, the next set of rivets down. If you're using like a dress belt or, a belt that's like, that's less than 1.5 inches wide, then tighten these things up, quite a bit, and then that'll prevent a whole lot of rocking. After you use this for a while, these loops will tend to kind of stay out, so that when you put your knife on in the morning, it's not near as much of a pain to get on there. See, that was just one time and it went on quite a bit easier. And so anyway, that's how you tie that that paracord belt loop, I guess we'll call it. And like I said, I mean, the first versions looked a little on the thrown together side, but the dang things just work. And so far I have not come up with anything better as far as, the clips. I mean, clips are okay, but they add width, they add width to your sheath, to the whole thing. So now that knife is going to sit, instead of sitting, that far, sit another 1/4 inch or so farther away from your hip, which, if you never roll around up underneath the truck or, crawl up underneath a foundation or crawl up in an area. I mean, if you never crawl, why then it might not be that big of a deal. The closer you can get your knife to your hip, typically the better, because then you know, you're not catching it on stuff. Well, if you ever walk through a stand of, you know, willows or, you know, briars or anything like that, you know, I mean, the closer you can get everything to you, you know, the less it gets snagged. But anyway, so yeah, I think, well, this next set of EDCs here, every single one of them is coming with both, you know, so if you're always going to carry it as a necker, then, you know, and you don't like the extra weight of that 2 foot of paracord, then cut it off and pull it out of there, or untie it and undo it. If you're always going to carry it as a belt knife and you're never going to carry it as a necker, then take the neck cord off. You know, either way, it just gives you options. And then, you know, I guess we can take a look at some of these new ones right quick before, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing today, is I got to finish these all up and write down their spec sheets and touch up the edges, and then get pictures taken and put them on the website and all that kind of fun stuff. And you might as well see some of those. We've got a 8-inch chef in 1095 and Purple Heart. Well, they're all in 1095. So Purple Heart, hand sanded and clean, 600 grit finish. This one right here is 8-inch chef in Bird's Eye Maple, and boy, let me tell you, this block of Bird's Eye Maple was really, really nice. I mean, look at that. Nice, big, bold bird's eyes. You know, typically with Bird's Eye Maple, a lot of times I'll dye it. But man, with a piece this pretty, I just couldn't bring myself to dye it at all. So these have just got, you know, a standard mineral oil finish on it. So there's that one in that Bird's Eye Maple, and then this EDC in Bird's Eye Maple. And it's just a really fantastic piece of Bird's Eye Maple. The rest of the stuff is not bad either. This is Wingay or Wingy. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Afzalia. That's not a bad wood. This is Kumaru. I had a trio of brothers come visit the shop a while back, and one of them is kind of a, well, I guess he's a finish carpenter, and he sent me a whole box of this stuff, and I really kind of like it. It seems pretty stable. I guess they use it mostly in flooring. CUMARU is how he wrote it on a couple of blocks of it. And then we just got a Purple Heart necker. This is IPE, Osage Orange, and some more of that Kumaru. So anyway, so I'll get these all finished up and get them up on the website today. And then I think I might go rabbit hunting with the slingshot this afternoon if I get all my work done. So again, like I said, guys, that's about the best belt loop that I've found for these nice light EDCs and neck knives. You know, you might even try it with something else. If you got another style of knife from another maker or another factory knife or something like that. You know, I mean, like I said, it looks thrown together, but man, I just haven't been able to find anything that works any better than this. As far as, you know, discreet in-town carry, you know, that holds it nice and tight to your body so you can roll around and crawl and, you know, I mean, it just makes the knife pretty much become part of you. And once you get to that point, then you don't even notice it until it's time to use it. And then, you know, use the thing and then put it back, and then you start forgetting about the mechanics of using it, and then you just use the thing and enjoy it. So again, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.